The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans. It is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. The Ride Home Rants podcast wants to thank you for listening and let everybody know that we do offer monthly subscriptions to help support the show in other ways other than listening and downloading each episode. What you will get with each subscription is you will get bonus episodes that aren't released to everybody. You will also have a chance to ask me anything each and every month where I will put out a special episode just to answer your questions. You will also get more exclusive content that is not released to everybody. To subscribe to the show, go and click on the link in the description of this episode, and I look forward to your added support and to help us keep this show going. The Ride Home Rants podcast is also brought to you by Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming products at an affordable price. Products are made in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of our supplies are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at buddysbeardcare.com. Use the promo code BONO15 and he will save you 15%. I've been using these products for a little over 6 months now, and my beard has never felt healthier. It has never grown faster, and according to my wife, it has never felt softer. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by former guest of the show in Matt Landowski in Sweet Hands Sports. Elevate their game with Sweet Hands Sports. Our sports gloves are designed for champions, providing ultimate grip and durability. Achieve greatness with every match. Choose Sweet Hands Sports for the winning edge. Grip your victory at sweethandsports.com. Use the promo code BONO10 and he will save you 10%. He has sent me a complimentary pair of golf gloves. They are so comfortable, durable, and breathable. You won't find a better pair of gloves out there. Again, sweethandsports.com, promo code BONO10. Lastly, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Deemed Fit, a clothing company from first responders for first responders. These products are so comfortable. They look great. They have great messages on them. They are provided to support first responders, especially those who worked through COVID. All of the proceeds are going to helping veterans and first responders with their mental and physical health. This is a great cause. I support anything that has to do with our first responders and our veterans. Again, deemedfit.co, promo code Mike Bono will save you 20%. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. Have a great episode for us today. I am bringing in a slew of coaches. We're going to talk all things about coaching and how their careers have gone and whatnot, and take you a deep dive into the coaching profession. So I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves here today. So, gentlemen, I need your name and the answer to these two questions, and that's, what is the best drink to have with breakfast? And do you shovel snow or use a snowblower? And Bill, since you're right on the screen there, Garv, go on ahead.
I'm going first. All right. I got to give you my name, right? Bill Garvey.
Yep.
Chocolate milk, definitely my go-to. I will tell you that. But I'm a non-coffee drinker. I'm sure everybody's going to say coffee, but I don't drink coffee. So chocolate milk is me, like a 2-year-old. And then I shovel snow. No snow blower for me, man.
Okay. All
Mitch
right.
Fitty's got a snow blower.
He's been sending me videos of him shoveling snow today up there in Cleveland, getting pounded with snow right now. So he's been sending me like, this is why I can't be on the show tonight. I can't come into the joint roundtable. So he's got snow up to his knees right now. So he's in it to win it right now. But Mister, let's go to you.
Mr. Ask You, aka Vampire Coach. And what do I love to drink with breakfast? Man, you know what? You can't go wrong with chocolate milk, man. But but sometimes, you need to really wake up with that 1800. Do I shovel snow? Oh, absolutely. Give me that big, shovel, man, and get going, get grinding. No snowblower.
Absolutely. I don't even know what a snowblower is anymore. Growing up, it was always a shovel. So it's what we still use today. But Drew, let's go to you.
What's up, y'all? I love the 1800. That's awesome. But for breakfast, I gotta go with milk as well. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm just a white milk kind of guy. And then same here. I shovel snow, man. I don't do any plowing. Consider it my little workout and get out there and shovel the snow.
All right. And last but not least, Duncan.
Duncan Williams. For breakfast, prefer adult gasoline, black coffee, and shovel or snowblower, neither. I'm from West Virginia. We just put that thing in 4-wheel drive, turn the traction control off, and spin them wheels till you feel the pavement, baby.
There you go.
That's the other way to do it. But you grew up in an Italian household. My dad would have me. He would set the stove timer to every hour, when it snowed. We were out there shoveling snow. Get back out there. There might be a dusting on that driveway. We need to get that cleaned off. So but that was always the fun part. Growing up in West Virginia, you turn that traction control off. We don't need that right now. Go.
There you go.
But all right, guys, we're going to talk about all things coaching here. So, Mister, let's go to you here. And, are you a current or former coach? And we just need, if you're a current or a former coach for this one right here, because we're going to dive into it here a little bit later.
Okay. Current, not current right now at this exact moment. But last I was up in Minnesota, North College, Vermillion College defensive coordinator. But at this exact moment, I'm not coaching.
Okay. Garvey, what about you?
Same, not coaching. Last place I was coaching at was high school in this past season, and then the last college place I was at Delaware State.
Okay. Duncan, what about you?
Current Division II basketball coach and assistant athletic director.
All right. Drew, round us out here.
Yeah, currently am coaching. As of now, yes, I am coaching.
Okay. All right. I'm sure Garv and Mister, you guys aren't going to be former coaches here for very long with your guys' resumes and everything like that. But Drew, what is the highest level that you coached at? Was it high school, college? If so, which level, or pro, and in which sport?
Yeah, I've coached football and basketball. Highest level I've been was at the high school level for both, and currently am at the high school level for football right now.
Okay. Duncan, what about you?
A little bit of everything. Started in high school, went to college, did college soccer, did college basketball, still do college basketball, done college basketball all actually at the Division II level for 15 years, 16 years. Did college golf for a year or two as well, a couple years ago.
Okay. Garvey, what about you?
I've been the highest level I've been at is FCS football only, but I've been at Division II, Division III. This past year, my first year coaching at the high school level. So I've been at FCS and Division II, Division III.
All right, Mister, what about you?
Highest level arena football. I was actually the head coach of three different arena football team. Two of them, the league never got started, so that never came to fruition. But coached at D1, D2, D3, and high school and junior college. So I've been all over.
Okay. Absolutely. So we got a high level of, from high school all the way up even to the pros there when and being in the arena football league. Arena football is like it, I just kind of want
Love
it
it.
to take off, but I don't think it ever will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
it's been a rocky. You know what? It's actually, when the NFL came in and they started doing things with the NFL, that's when the arena league started going downhill. The contracts, the money them guys were making, man, them guys were making six figures. When it was Arena One, and then Arena Two, they was making $200 a game with the $50 win bonus. Some of them was different, man, but them guys were started making some money. And they had health insurance too. They had it all at Arena One. Yeah, they was making some money. I mean, you was good. You didn't have to find another job.
right. Yeah. A lot of those, that's what people don't see is a lot of these arena players and these semi-pro players, like they still work a day job and then they go
Yep.
out and they're still out there performing at a high level.
Right.
It's amazing to see, but
Did I see him playing arena football in like the Mall of America recently?
I did see that. Like,
Isn't that nuts? I mean, it was awesome though. You had like 5 tiers of fans kind of stacked up in the aisles right next to the field. It was wild.
I wonder if they
Yeah.
charge admission to get in there for that, because you know what I mean. Like
It's almost worth it
going
just
shopping
to
and
have it. Yeah.
there. Like, I'd be kind of pissed if they're like, yeah, it's like a $10 to get in to go shop.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mister, did you play any sports in college? If so, where did you go to college? And what sports did you play?
Yeah, I played football and I ran track one year actually. I played at Alabama A&M. You talking about somebody that went on a journey. Hey, I tell you what, you talking about how these guys was hopping in the portal. Well, I was doing that before that stuff was happening. Hey, because my journey, I went from, this is no lie, I was at Alabama A&M. I left. I went to Rock Valley College. I left. Then I went to the University of Cincinnati. Stayed there for about 2-3 weeks during camp. Rick Manning was the head coach. Harbaugh was my running back coach at the time. He was special team coordinator. And then left and ended up, getting back with Coach Ernest Wilson. He got me back on the right track at Elizabeth City State. Man, I ended up graduating. So I went to 4 different schools. I'll tell you what, it was a journey though for me, man. It was a journey. You talking about going full time, part time, full time. I just had to, I had to get it done. And a lot of times you hear coaches talking about the journey or the process. When you get to the end and make it, it's well worth it. It is well worth it.
So you invented the transfer portal? Was that what you're trying to say there?
Oh yeah. By far. I invented that thing. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You talking about getting your tapes, getting your film? We wasn't getting films on the internet. No, we had VHS tape, buddy. And you was pressing play, pause, record.
Oh, man.
and I was sending them out. Oh yeah, I invented the transfer portal. Absolutely.
All right, Garvey, what about you?
Yeah, I played football at Iona College in New Rochelle, New York, which no longer has a program anymore.
Wow. And what do you think goes into that, when programs just get shut down?
Money.
Money.
I think it's all money. And then the place, Iona was at it was a strange situation because when I went there, it was a Division III program making the transition to 1AA at now FCS. Because really, the whole conference was like Georgetown was in it, Duquesne, Siena, they were all basketball schools playing Division III football, but Division I basketball, and that was becoming like you couldn't do that anymore.
Right.
So you had to be, you now have to be, except for hockey, because hockey is just different. You have to be the same division. But St. John's was in there, Rider College was in there, St. Peter's. I mean, a whole bunch of schools that no longer have football. They all dropped it. There's a few that still do. I was like Georgetown moved on to the Patriot League, but a lot just dropped and no longer have it. So, I mean, money, what they want to spend their money on, where they want to put it. Football's an expensive sport, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Duncan, what about you?
I played soccer and basketball in college. Played baseball my whole life growing up, but didn't play it in college. I went to Winthrop University, which is right outside Charlotte. I went there a couple years. Went in that portal back when it wasn't a portal. We didn't brag about it probably as much back then. Probably didn't get as much NIL because it never existed back then. And then I went to Shepherd University, Division II school, and played both there and graduated from there, and then went on the journey. And then since you just mentioned like schools or programs closing, I've coached at a handful of different colleges on my way up, two of which have since closed. So they're not even schools anymore.
Yeah, that's the insane one to me, when whole colleges and universities just shut down like that. I understand money's a big factor into it, but yeah, that still blows my mind to this day.
Right.
Let's just shut down more education.
Just completely close it all.
Let's just shut it down. Yeah, I don't understand it. But Drew, what about you? Round us out on this question.
Yeah, played football at Louisville. Was recruited to go to Ashland University, and was committed to about the last second. And then I got a coaching opportunity to coach with my former head coach at Matthews, and I weighed my options, and I got pretty hurt my senior year, pretty bad hip injury. So I decided against playing college football, and I got into coaching immediately.
Okay, yeah. I probably should have went that route. Unfortunately, my senior year of high school, playing football, and I swam too as well, was a better swimmer than I was a football player, and hurt my shoulder, which is like the kiss of death for swimmers, and lost a lot of scholarships. Bethany kept theirs, so went there and swam for a season and re-injured my shoulder. So it was just I probably should have just went into. I coached for a summer swim season here in Central Ohio. I loved coaching, but I had a range of kids from like 8 to 18, and there was like some 90 some kids in this program. So swim meets are long as it is, but now we got to get 90 some kids into the pool and into events, and it's just like, all right, I didn't want to do anything today but stand around a pool in the summer sun and be outside and just bake in the sun. But I liked it. I always said I'd make a better coach than I did an athlete. But it's just there's not a lot of people that are looking to start swim programs. That's the problem. And with my sport, I guess we'll say, is it's tough to get going, and once it gets going, keeping the traction with it, because swim meets are brutal to go to. It's an
all-day event.
It's like wrestling.
Yeah. Yep. I remember regionals in high school, and we got to the pool at like 8 a.m. and I remember leaving there at 8 p.m. and was done with like events for the day. Like that, it's 12 hours. Like, it's not a 3-4 hour football game or soccer match or basketball game. It's an all day event, and people just don't want to sit for that long. I don't blame them. I don't want to sit that long. So I get it, but still love the sport of swimming. It only gets recognition once every 4 years with the Olympics. So it is what it is. But Drew, what would you say was your biggest win as a coach? It could be as an assistant or a head coach.
My biggest win. Actually, my biggest win was as a player. It was my senior year, and we were 1-6, and we played a team that was 6-1, and they were on a 6-game winning streak, and they were probably one of the better teams in our division in the state. And we played them. You asked Fitty about this. It's an incredible story. They came to our place, and we just beat above and down, just destroyed them. It was like final score like 28-6. We won. We scored on the first play of the game. We stopped them 3-and-out. We got the next play, and we scored again. We scored twice on 2 plays. It was just like an incredible night. So getting that win was insane. Probably as a coach, I would have to say, back in 2016, I was special teams coordinator at Matthews. We were 5-4. This is when 8 teams made it, and we were seed 11th, and we were playing the 10th seed. So we needed a lot of things to happen for that winner to make the playoffs. I think like 4 teams had to lose, and those 4 teams exactly lost. And we won week 10, and we made it at that 8th spot. It's pretty cool. It was a cool night to celebrate that. So I'd probably say those 2 were my most incredible wins as a coach.
Yeah, that's definitely when you're praying for other teams for you to make it into, and then it actually happens. That's definitely a huge victory.
The best part is we didn't even know about it until like a minute left that if we would have won it, we were going to make it. So we really got excited at that point.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's good not knowing that until either after the game, because it would be in the back of the players' minds.
Oh, for sure, no doubt.
Because we had that my senior year of high school. It was, we had finished 5-5 all 3 years and missed the playoffs, and we finally had a chance, but we needed another school to lose.
Yeah,
and our coaches stupidly told us that went out for kickoff. Like, why would you and you could just tell, everybody was stiff at the start of the game because we were worried about that.
Yeah.
So definitely want to wait till the end of the game, or even after the game. Okay, now we need to look to see if X, Y, and Z lost.
Yeah. Yep.
Duncan, what about you? Biggest win?
I guess as a coach, beat a couple top 2 or 3 nationally ranked teams, within our division. As a Division II, we've beat a couple different Division I's. Those were always nice. But winning a tournament championship, did that a few times. That feeling's kind of unbeatable. I mean, beating a D1's nice, and beating a top ranked team's nice, but those are regular season games. The winning tournament championships is just that feeling, kind of something really different. Been lucky enough to be a part of some teams that did that a few times, so I'd say those.
Okay, Garvey, what about you?
It's a good one. I'll give you 2 as well. As an assistant, when I was at Harvard, we won an Ivy League championship. So we had to beat, Harvard Yale games, the last ones. We had to win out to get that. We did that was in 2011, I think. And then as a head coach, probably I think it was my first or second year. I think it was my first year at Bethany. We beat W&J for the first time in 32 years. So that was a pretty, kind of a turning point for that place a little bit. I'm trying to move that thing forward in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that win. It was a
good one.
And that definitely was a good one. But at Harvard, that wasn't with Fitzpatrick there. He would have just left in 2011, right?
No. He would have been. No, it wasn't 11. So it would have been. I'm way off. Not 11.
I would say you were at Bethany when I was there.
Yeah. It's not 11. I don't. See, that's how old I am. It would be 6'4".
Probably 2008, 9.
It's early 2000s. Fitzpatrick would have been. No. He may have been a freshman on that team.
Get the calculator out.
I was.
He may have been a freshman.
I carry the 1.
Right. He may have been a freshman. That probably 2000, and I got to think about this. I got there at 2001, not 2011. I just added a 1.
I
think it was 2001, 2002.
Right. Mister, what about you?
I tell you what, I'll give you 2, 3 of them real quick. One of them was with Savannah State. Got my first Division One. We was in the MAC. I mean the MEAC conference with Coach Wilson. Coaching with him. We've been together forever. He coached me coming out of Alabama A&M. I've been with him for 25 plus years. And we finally got to the D1 level in Savannah State and got our first win together on Division One level. The second one would be high school, winning the first playoff game at Alpha Central High School, their first playoff win ever. And then the third will be coaching with that guy right there, Bill Garvey. You might remember this, Bill. We was playing Thomas More. We was down 21-0, 20-0 at halftime. And daggone Garv, you know what I'm saying? He got into that zone, and he said, "No more of this BS, no more of this bull crap." And we just switched it. Them guys played, and that was a real special moment, man. Because everybody know the story of Bethany College, up and down and been getting beat, and we pulled that sucker out, man. Garv called a hell of a game, man.
At their place.
Yep, at their place. And they was sick. Them guys was mad. They thought they had that game. But that was a good game, special game. Man, that's one game that just stick with me because I was right there by Garb, and I was soaking up everything that he was just calling and just how he act, man. And I loved it. I loved it, man. So I did learn a lot from you, man. I know I probably said a whole lot of things behind your back, but I learned a lot.
I think it's always a big win for a coach to win an away game, especially when nobody thinks you're going to be able to win that game on the road.
Nothing like an away game, man.
Yeah, that's the best.
Like those away wins,
Oh yeah.
It's always,
just don't plant your flag in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
we don't need anybody getting faced like the.
Yeah.
Man,
It happened all day yesterday.
they should start outlawing that. Good night.
They were still talking about it all day this morning when I was sitting up watching Sports Center, drinking my coffee, and it was. That's all I kept hearing about was, Ohio State losing, which I was so happy that Ohio State lost. I can't stand Ohio State. I'm not a Michigan fan either. Like, I just hate Ohio State that much.
Can't say that out of the restaurant. No, how good Lord.
I live 45 minutes out of Columbus. Like,
Right.
That's
Good luck.
where I live too. So yeah, it's all I see down here is people like just that's all they talk about is Ohio State, and I can't stand it. But for me, I mean, I didn't coach long enough to have that big win, but it was as a swimmer, and that was winning my regional 100 backstroke, and having that in high school on my resume as a regional winner, and in an event that I really never raced throughout the season. Like, I did it sparingly. We had enough guys that they would, throw somebody else in there every now and again. But they put me in for regionals, which to this day, I still don't know why they decided that at the beginning. But, ended up pulling out the win there by almost half a second, which is an eternity in swimming. And then winning the 50 freestyle at the PAC championships at Bethany College. It was one of the first events I got to do in the conference championships, and just winning that event was huge for me. Till I ended up getting dehydrated and having to miss the last 2 days of the conference championships because the doctors would not release me to swim, even though I got the IV and I was fine. But that one sticks still too. So I've had a lot of downs more than ups in swimming, my swimming career. So it's
like a crazy ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. One of those ones that still haunts you, and just years later.
They all do.
But Mister, What do you suppose, what pro sport would you think would be the hardest to win a championship in? Is it the NHL, NFL, NBA, or the MLB?
MLB. Uh, MLB. I think it'll be the hardest. You playing 1,000 games, dude, and
Yeah, it's a long season.
yeah, it's a long season. The mental, just the mental to be able to come out and play every night if you can do it. And I don't know how many of them guys are doing that because all them guys are taking breaks. But I can see the hockey too, though. I would say baseball and hockey will be the hardest because hockey is that's brutal. Yeah, you talking about legs, thighs, ankles. You put your life on the line. The
Teeth.
blade. Oh heck nah. But baseball. I think that'd be the hardest one.
All right, Garvey, what about you?
Oh, I mean, not to be too biased, but I think football, and the reason why I say that is because I think football, is the hardest team sport to be played because it's the most. It's 11 people at one time trying to do the right thing, more than any other sport, right? It's the most people on the field at one time that have to do one thing and move in the same direction. That's why I always say I think football is the hardest one out of all the team sports, just because it's the most people on the playing surface at one time.
Yeah.
So I'd still stick with football.
Never thought of it that
That's
way.
an excellent point.
Duncan,
Right.
what about you?
It's a loaded question as always with this group.
We ask the tough questions here.
I know you really set everybody up to really dive in. I'd love to say basketball because that's what I mildly get paid to do, but I don't really think it is. I think if you get the right group in basketball, it kind of takes care of itself. Kind of like the way the Patriots can play some football. The one thing, like I want to say baseball, just because you just don't see that many repeat winners. But at the same time, I think the world of baseball is completely unfair because their payroll for the Yankees can be $350 million a year when they're playing other teams in the playoff, even in the World Series, that their payroll is more than double the team they're playing. So we might say it's harder because of the sport, but when one team can pay their players 350 million and the other team can pay their team 88 million, like there should be more likelihood of the team that just pays more to win them, which, we have seen teams get hot in the 90s for baseball. You had the Braves and you had the Yankees, and them two are just kind of stealing it every year. We haven't had a ton of it recently. So I'll say baseball just because the sport just goes up and down so quick because of pitching and because of hitting. But I almost don't want to give them that respect because of the way they do their payroll. So I don't want to say it, but I am.
I agree that baseball players are way overpaid, especially starting pitchers. Like, okay, I've gone on this rant so many times, but I got to again. Clayton Kershaw got a 10-year, $350 million contract to pitch every 4 days and not even a full game, and then choke in the playoffs. Like, that's like, who needs that amount of money? I'm not saying I wouldn't want that amount of money. I'm saying who needs that amount of money. But like that, and you're not pitching every day. You're not a first baseman that's got to go out there and take line drives every day, or a catcher that has to try to hope his knees hold up throughout the season from squatting all day. It's just, okay. We'll get off that so we can get Drew to answer this question here.
No, you're good. No, all you guys make great points. You want to say baseball because what everyone mentioned, it's so hard to play. You play 162 games a year. That's insane. And then if you make the playoffs, you're playing probably another 30 more. That's hard. But I think ultimately, not to be biased either, I think football is extremely hard. Like Coach Garvey said, 11 guys on the field, got to have the same mindset, you got to know exactly what to do every single play. Not easy. And then you look at the NFL, watching the Bills and 49ers now, everyone's such on a level playing field. In the NFL, you get to pick your own guys. So you can see who you want, who fits your scheme, who fits your team. And it's hard to compete. You look like a Panthers team. They can go in and beat a San Fran. They can beat a Buffalo. They almost won today against Tampa.
Yeah.
It's just, every day it's different with the NFL. So that's why I think that got to be the hardest to win.
See, I got to go hockey on this one for me. Just the physicality of the game. You're on ice, you're skating, and then you have to, the option for a fight always happens, and then trying to do that, and just the natural athletes that these guys are. Like, I still go back to Sidney Crosby going to the Pirate Stadium and taking BP and just taking these pitchers yard for I mean, just the hand-eye coordination you have to have, the mental toughness that you have to be a hockey player. But 82 games seasons, not counting playoffs. They're playing every night, every other night, like baseball, albeit not as many games. But still, I think the physicality that you have to deal with in hockey and playing that many games and back-to-backs, it's then going into playoffs, best of 7 series, trying to play another 30 games on top of that too as well, if you go all the way to the championship. So yeah, it's just a long, grueling season. But yeah, I'm a huge hockey fan too. So I guess I'm
not talked about enough is hockey, like professional hockey players are full on linebackers that are mild ballerinas because they have balance and speed and all of that, because not many athletes do, and then throw a puck in the mix that's going around at 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's like a combination of all types of wildness going on in that.
Try being a goalie and stop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's nuts.
When Ovechkin shoots at 110-mile-an-hour slap shot, albeit he's like the wild thing in Major League and he's not accurate, but if he by chance puts that on net, you have to react to that. And, that's one thing that is just always, I don't think hockey gets the respect that it should, because Zdeno Chara, when he played, was 6'7" without being on skates and 250 pounds. That's a linebacker, like now, or an offensive guard. Like, that's what's going on and being played, and like oh, he's undersized for hockey. He's only 6 foot 250. Like, it's like, okay, that's Derrick Henry 6 foot 250. Tell me you want to
no doubt
up against him every day on skates. But Drew, what I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, but who do you think is the greatest coach ever? It can be anyone from, a high school coach through college pros, Olympics, etc., and in any sport. So, I mean, just wide open here, who's the greatest coach ever?
Wow. You want to talk about a loaded question?
This one's coming straight from Fitty.
I know. That's the worst part about it.
You can't tell who wrote what questions. So.
Oh, man, the greatest coach ever. Do you go? You can talk about Bill Walsh, the Dolphins. The only team that went undefeated in the NFL. We consider that's the hardest sport to win a championship, and he's done it and went up the table. That's pretty impressive. You can talk about these guys, the NBA that have done it for so long. Greg Popovich is another guy that comes to mind. I mean, he's just the San Antonio way down there has been relentlessly good. I know they've been bad the past few years, but you're going back to 2000 where they've just been unbelievable. God, I would have to say, give me Walsh for the Dolphins, undefeated season. He did it. He never take it away from him and hasn't been touched yet. So I'm saying the Wolves.
I'm gonna throw a curveball in here for you and maybe give these other guys a chance to think about this. I'm going Herb Brooks for the Olympic hockey team.
Good one. That's a good one.
That beat the Soviets with the band of misfit toys from Boston. Like,
that's a great one.
That's a good one.
made for like
That's
sure
a high level choice.
Miracle on Ice, the movie and everything about it. Like that's yeah. I gotta go Herb Brooks. But Duncan, what about you? And now the special guest here with you.
This is Viv. She just wanted to get on the podcast. She just heard all the laughter happening. She's jealous, pretty much, to be honest with you. I'm going to one up you with hockey. I don't even want to talk about all the unbelievable coaches that have graced our presence with all the sports that we all have coached and know too much about, because it's almost offensive to skip some guys. But some guys I really model myself after, speak in the hockey realm. I grew up to Gordon Bombay coaching the Mighty Ducks. What he was able to do with those kids in the movie was next to fantastic. To really take them out of the gutter and put them together and win championships and take them to the private school and then to the Junior Olympics. I mean, tell me when that's been done, So I've modeled myself after him in my career, other than the trouble he started with when he was in the first movie. I'm not shooting for that, but his story and the comeback, everybody loves it.
Gordon Bombay. Oh my God, that was a fantastic answer, Duncan.
You can take that with you. That was free.
I can't
lose with Goldberg, the goalie, man.
Goldberg.
He could stop Ovechkin's shot.
Yeah.
The Bash Brothers.
To get Fulton Reed out there. All right, Garvey, what about you?
This is a tough one. I mean, there's so many. One that came to my mind because you gave me the hockey idea, and I'm from Long Island, New York, would be the head coach of the New York Islanders when they won 4 straight Stanley Cups, Al Arbor.
So that's a good one. That's a good one, especially now.
It's a little obscure. It's out there.
Yeah.
What info you got on? Because I don't know enough. I'm just interested at this point.
I mean, they just ran. They probably maybe the greatest dynasty in all of sport, possibly, right? Because they won 4 in a row. They got to the 5th one and lost. The drive for 5.
The Islanders were tough.
I think they got to the 5th one. I can't. We're talking when I'm like, how old am I? I'm like 10 or 11 years old. So that would be one. But heck, I mean, you got all those basketball guys, coaches that have done it. I mean, you could give to the Marvel Eady. You got the Buffalo Bills on, right? He never won one, but he went to 3 straight, right?
Right.
I mean, there's so many. But I'll go with my first one. New York Islanders, being biased from a New York guy.
Yeah, well, can't answer for that. Absolutely. But Mister, what about you?
Dude, I am going to take the high road in this, and I am going to go way off, okay? And you can laugh at me, and that is quite okay.
Oh, I got another.
I am going to have to go with Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday. So that is my guy.
Halftime speech ever.
That is who I'm going to go with. And it's Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
A.K.A. Scarface.
Garvey, you said you had another one. Wait, who's your second one there?
I thought he was going to go with what's the I thought he was going female girls basketball and going.
I was going to go with Pat.
Guy.
Oh, Pat Summit. Jeez, Louise.
I thought you were going to go with Gino.
Or Gino, or yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're good. See, Garden on me. Yeah. He right.
I thought you were going straight female basketball. That's where I thought you were going. And all would be really good picks.
Badger Bob Johnson.
Wow. My wife from the other room, Badger Bob Johnson. Great day for hockey. Oh, man. There you go. We're going to have to move on. She's starting to talk about 90s Penguins, and that's a whole other show in and of itself with how much about hockey and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's a whole other show in and of itself. It might have to split it into 2 shows. She will go on forever about the Penguins and her love for the Penguins. But Mister, when you're coaching, what is one trait you want in a player above anything else as a coach?
Resilience. You got to be able to. You have got to be able to go when all odds are against you. So you have to be this resilience. You know, uh, that would be the thing. You know, you have to be a killer. You got to be a wolf. I'm looking for wolves and not portals.
Man, I'm not mad at that. Garvey, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the resilience thing's right there, and mine's a little bit probably broader on just toughness, right? And mentally and physically, and probably mentally with resilience, what Mister's kind of referred to, is probably way more important, right? Because the play part of things, that's the easy part, right? The mental toughness of fighting through things and fighting through adversity and your resilience and doing the necessary things when you're not in season and those types of things, that's the hard part, right? I mean, that is the hard part. So for me, just toughness mentally and physically, and probably more on the mental toughness side.
All right. Duncan, what about you?
Yeah, a lot of these things kind of go together and almost overlap each other, but mental toughness and being resilient, they all overlap. Being just an elite competitor, is always important. And guys that I'm either recruiting or coaching, like I'm going to try to go play ping pong with them and see if they care or not. I'm going to talk them into a paper airplane competition and see what happens. Like, we're not getting funky about it. You're probably not my guy. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're competing against it, if you're addicted to like the path and the grind, that's worth more than 4 inches on a vertical. That's worth more than 4% on a 3-point shooting percentage, because you're going to be so addicted or so competitive that you're going to get better at those things. Like those traits are something that I think most of us coaches wish we had enough time to just coach those traits more, or just recruit those kids more, and just know more about just those things rather than he runs this or he's this tall or whatever it is academically. So I think that just being ultra competitive, boils over into those other things, like in the classroom or in life. I think that makes probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, that goes back to my pick for coach and Herb Brooks is, I got my team. I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right players. Like that's I think that boils down to that right there. And I, even a former player myself, I still have that competitive edge in me now. My son wants to play a video game with me, and it's just like, I think I'm going to take it easy on you, dude, bro. I've been playing video games since before you were even a thought. So, like, let's pick up the stick. You want to go? I'm going to put it to you, and I'm not going to take it easy on you either, too. So, that's just always been who I am. But Drew, what about you? What are you looking for in a player?
Yeah, it's touched that real quick. It's like that Cardell Jones tweet where he plays the kid in the hospital. He's playing him in Madden, and they say Cardell Jones won 56-7, and he corrects it. He goes, "No, actually, it was 63-7."
Yeah,
But yeah, we all, I think we all have the perfect formula here for the perfect kid. I would probably say coachability. A kid that's coachable, that wants to learn, that wants to get better. I take that over any God-given talent any day. Anyone can go out there and play, but if you're not doing the fundamentals the right way, the technique the right way, if you're not bought into the scheme and bought into what the team is trying to do, it's a lost cause. So I think being a coachable kid, being understand what you got to do, what your job is, and how to execute your job on every play is the biggest thing, and then everything else will take care of itself. So I think just being a coachable kid, that's a huge thing for me.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, you can't coach that. That's one thing that you either have that you're a coachable player, or that's not something that a coach is going to instill into any player. You're either coachable, or you're not.
You can try to coach it. You can try your best.
Yeah, you could try, but
you can help.
Yeah,
you probably ain't gonna make it or not.
Wall for a while there. All right, Drew. Do you think coaches at the college level are just as holy crap, Vinny, how did you run? Do you think coaches at the college level are just as under as much oh my God, sometimes he types too fast when he sends me these questions. Do you think coaches at the college level are under as much pressure as professional coaches now?
Yeah, I'd say if any coach of any high school, college, or pros there definitely are any pressure. When you're responsible for if you're a coordinator or you're assistant coach, you're a head coach, that's your responsibility, and the pressure is on you no matter what, and no matter what sport it is. Obviously you go up the ranks from high school to college. I bet college has more pressure than a high school team, and I'm sure NFL or NBA has more pressure than a college team. But I think each level has their own rate of pressure and their own amount of pressure that a coach would feel. But when you're talking about more dollars and the higher ups, I think that probably adds a little more than coaching at a high school level.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what just happened today, and I know by the time this show comes out, this is going to be old news. But Neil Brown fired at West Virginia, 6-6.
Yep.
Good riddance for sure. I'm so happy that happened because I've been saying it for 2 years now that he's not the guy for West Virginia University. But he finished 25-28 as a record in the Big 12. Like that's not getting it done.
Yeah, that's right.
He was 37-35 as a coach of West Virginia. Like that's just, it's not getting it done for a big name Division I program in the Big 12. You got to be fighting for Big 12 championships, not hoping Kansas State, Colorado, Kansas, and I think Oklahoma State had to lose for us to even sniff a Big 12 championship game at 6-6. Like it's like that's
wow.
Unheard. Like that's
crazy.
The Big 12, I mean, it's very top dominant, and then you add in Colorado coming in, BYU, in these schools, Arizona State, formerly of the Pac-12, which is now the Pac-2.
Yeah, the conference changing is incredible.
It's insane.
Yeah, so I mean, it added a whole other.
I also feel WVU in the Big 12 is a pretty tough job. Just comparatively, it's not what WVU in the Big East was.
Right.
It's different, man.
I've been saying this since they went to the Big 12. I think they should have went to the ACC.
Yeah, I agree.
You have
a lot of people do, especially regionally, but Big 12, I assume, pays a lot more, and
more TV time.
I'm sure there's some type of something to be in the ACC. WVU may not have been pretty enough, the right colors, the right education. There's always other factors in the play.
Yeah, absolutely. But what about you for this question there, Duncan? Are college coaches under as much pressure?
I think they are. I think as soon as you, and it probably depends on the sport and depends on the pay, and which is drastically different at every college and different at every level of college. A lot of people probably don't realize that, just because you're a Division II coach, but that same coach at Division III might be a full-time gig, might be $50,000 or $70,000, might be health insurance, might be this, that, and the other. And then you go up a level to Division II, that same job at Division II, for some reason or another, it might be a part-time job. That coach of that certain sport or whatever it may be, it's just different at that university. So the pay for jobs at different levels and the pay just strictly off of the sport changes drastically from school to school between levels. But most colleges, especially when scholarships are involved, every coach knows if I don't win enough, I'm not going to keep my job. It's a weird life to live, but it's kind of what you sign up for. I would say it's exactly like the NFL. It's exactly like the NBA. If you don't win enough, you're not going to keep your job. The only difference is you could go 500 or maybe even better in the NFL and get fired. If you're doing plus 500 in college, you're probably okay unless you're at that particular school for that particular sport that pays a lot more to not do that than the national average for that sport. So every college coach, no matter what the sport, knows if I don't do well enough, I don't keep my job. So there is a ton of pressure. Everybody has that feeling. It's just, what is the well enough between the NBA and what is the well enough between Division II athletics or Division I athletics or whatever, but they all know there's pressure involved. It's kind of what you sign up for.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to the two here that have done it at the college level here. But Garvey, you've done it, at the likes of like Harvard, tell us, what's the pressure like for college coaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other two are exactly right. I think it depends on the level. I think eventually, no matter what level you're at, if you're not having success, it's done. It's just probably as you move down your level, there's just a little bit more tolerance, or maybe given more time. Maybe that's the better word, because as you move down, there is less scholarships and less resources and those things that will help you win quicker than at other places. And obviously it's not as revenue driven and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I think there's pressures everywhere, no matter where you're at. And if you're at really good competitive high school football, it's no different than college, right? I mean, there's some places in this country that are paying high school football coaches really, really big money. And if you don't win, you're out too. So, and I know that it's happening in basketball as well, at smaller private places that are probably a little bit more basketball oriented because they're private schools and things like that, or, your pre-prep school, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I mean, there's pressures everywhere, right? The best way to describe college coaching and coaching in general is great job, bad profession.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah, it really is.
Mister, can you add anything onto that? You've done it too as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say, anytime you're in a role of leadership and you're leading, a group of individual, a group of people, there's always going to be pressure, no matter what. And I think a lot of time it comes down to who like you just a little bit more if you're going to keep your job, really. Because sometimes, we talk about, particularly with high school or with college, you might have an AD come in or a new principal or a president come in. It just comes down to, who like you a little bit more. But, I mean, there's pressure. There's pressure from top to bottom, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's all well said. I don't think there's anything to add to that. I was going to end it there. That got a little heavier than I thought, so I want to end with this question here. And, Mister, I think I already know where you're going to go with this. And what's more realistic of a movie and football team? Any given Sunday portraying the NFL or the program portraying college football?
Oh, man.
Neither.
Oh my gosh. How about I got a movie coming out. It's going to be called Vampire Coach. Diary of the Vampire Slayer. Oh man, you can't, man. Listen, hey, both of those are real.
Some role in it, and I will add some comedy to it, man. I'm game for this.
Oh my gosh, man! The program, any given Sunday, dude. Come on, man! It's all real. It's real.
All right, Duncan. What about you?
I think they're both fantastic movies, and that is a great reference. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen them, you're not alive or should not probably be in this chat. I think they're fantastic, especially for the time periods. One was probably 90s and one was probably early 2000s, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So I thought they were pretty good. Like one's making music videos like Dion was. Like it's spot on. I am showing my age here, but at times in practices, when I know it's time to put somebody away, I say it's time to put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner.
Uh-huh.
And the dudes look at me like, what in the hell is this guy talking about? Like, they know I say some weird stuff from time to time, and they know that probably means something, but they got zero idea what that actually means.
You got to show them. You got to show them the movie.
I got to show them.
Yeah.
Right, just painting your face, breaking off toilet doors, just yeah. So I don't know. To me, just going through both those areas, I think they're both real.
Okay. Garvey, what about you?
I'm going any given Sunday.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there's truth to some of it, and then some of it's obviously it's a movie. That's ridiculous, right? Like nobody puts their head through a window, and it does. That's not real. Not on purpose like that.
I said, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. You put your head through a window, Mister.
I'll say Mister might have something to say about that.
You know what?
You see me Thursday before the game our junior year.
Hey,
All right, that was walking home from Bubba's when you shouldn't have been.
oh
there
my
anyway.
God! Oh my God! Here you go. Oh my goodness! Let me tell you something. Hey, the program, I would tell you this. If you watch that, I've partaken in some form and fashion in everything in that movie besides the head going through the window. As a player and as a coach. And as
I got you, Drew. What about you?
2 unbelievable movies. I gotta go Any Given Sunday. The Al Pacino speech at the end is as real as it gets, really. That is top tier. I still listen to that sometimes before I coach games. I get fired up about it. So Any Given Sunday is a great movie. They're both great movies, but I gotta go with Any Given Sunday. That's top tier.
Gotcha. No worries. Yeah, that's tough to follow, Mister doing everything but putting his head through a window, which I'm surprised hasn't happened, honestly, Mister.
I would tell you what I have heard this story about LT putting that the chainsaw and cutting that car in half. Now I haven't heard stories about that down through the grapevine.
Yeah, I've heard
Through some NFL players I used to coach with, and we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah. That's another show for another day.
Yeah.
But with that all being said, that is actually going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. I want to thank all of my guests here, Mr. Drew, Bill, and Duncan, for joining the show. This was a lot of fun getting to talk everything coaching. If you enjoyed this, absolutely go check it out on the Patreon page there too as well. You can get early access to the shows. You can ask us anything where we will actually do a show and live answer your questions. And I'm giving out free merch too as well on there as well. So go and check us out there, get all those amenities. But as always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week.
The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rocket on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.